Today's revolution is not going to be what you hear the jargon on YouTube. All right, today's revolution is mental, it's physical, and it's fiscal, financial. Right? So that's what we're going to get into. So now these are the big three. For people used to hearing me talk, these are the big three. These are the guys we talk about. The meat and dairy companies, they poisoning folks, right? The doctors, the pharmaceutical companies, they killing folks. The junk food, the soft drink companies, they killing folks. But today it's a slightly different conversation, because the meat and the dairy companies are doing something that I want to talk to you guys about doing. The meat and the dairy company are positioning themselves for the new economy already. All of the vegan and alternative food companies are owned by the meat companies and the dairy companies already. The ones that are not owned already, they're in negotiations to be sold to them, right? And so we'll talk a little bit more about it, but the conversation I get from a lot of conspiracy theorists, because our community is filled those, is the meat and dairy companies, they're trying to buy the vegan food companies so they can put GMO in it. They want to put milk in the almond milk. No. That's because they know something you don't. Because they doing numbers. This is all about numbers. They're positioning themselves so that their companies stay relevant. The doctors and pharmaceutical companies. The doctors are on the front line of health every day. So although you hear people bang on doctors, I don't. I don't attack doctors for the reason that I just know they're not educated outside of medicine and surgery. That's the reason why you go to school, to be a doctor or a nutritionist. See, a lot of times it's our lack of information that puts us in the wrong place. We're going to see a doctor and ask him about nutrition. He didn't go to school for that. All he knows is medicine and surgery. So obviously he's going to direct you to medicine or surgery. But they're human also. And because they're also human, that means they got children, they got mothers, sisters, brothers, family, grandmothers, grandfathers, uncles, cousins. So what's your point, Minister? My point is they have sick people in their family that's also being failed by the system. They have people in their families that they have to watch die from diabetes and get their feet cut off. They have people in their family that they watch shrivel up to autoimmune disease and cancer. So they more so than anybody else, especially the conspiracy theorists on YouTube, know the shortcomings of today's health industry. And they're positioning themselves for the future economy. The doctors and the pharmaceutical companies have partnered up to create a thing called nutraceuticals. What is nutraceuticals, Minister Enqi? Nutraceuticals is simply a new name to put on natural herbs and plant-based compounds, because they know what works. And since they know what works, they're formulating companies, investing in new education for themselves. All the doctors are out either partnering up with herbalists and acupuncturists, or they're getting certified in those areas so that they personally can offer those services. And they're creating the nutraceutical companies so that they could do what? Put a patent on what? The plants, the herbs, and being able to heal with natural substances, right? And the larger conversation is what? Tuck away a few million/billion all in the process, no? This is an unregulated industry, wide open. The junk food and soft drink companies. Me and Tony is coming out of Myers the other day, and there's something called a Laura bar. A Laura bar is like a candy bar, but a vegan version. And so we've been eating Laura bars since Laura bars was a little trendy thing that you could only find in Whole Food or like a little boutique somewhere. We coming out of Myers, which is like the equivalent of Kroger or Pioneer. And Laura Bars now has a big stand at the cash register. And Snickers and Milky Ways are on sale. 2 for $1, 69 cents. What does that tell you? Who owns the new vegan junk food? The old junk food companies. So what are they doing? They're positioning themselves for the future economy. So if we don't wake up and take over the business, we're going to be buying the same health products, the new quote unquote new health supplements, etc., from the same old people. And we're going to watch it happen. And even worse, watch the conversation online on YouTube, the conspiracy theorists. They're going to be saying, look, they stole our ancestors' information. That was ours. We did that first. 7,000 years ago, Imhotep, right? What is that information about? What is that conversation about? What happened 5,000 years ago and 10,000 years ago is useless if we can't use some of that to catalyze what we're doing today. You can't use that to change your health today or change your bank account today. What is that conversation? What is that? Those are empty debates, empty conversations. So we're going to watch the same people that have made billions and trillions of dollars at your demise, at your suffering. They're going to do it again if we don't wake up. Right? So we know, or we should know, that we have multinational conglomerates that run and own most of the popular companies that we know of. These are trillion-dollar industries. So here's the major point that I want to drive home today, because here's where the opportunity is. Y'all came to hear about health. This is a money conversation, though. Today's trillion-dollar industries, this is what they're discussing every day. They have to change or go bankrupt. All of them. So when you hear health, the first thing you're thinking is herbs or working out or diet. Yo, minister, what's the food list? What's on the food list? What I'm supposed to eat, what I'm not supposed to eat. See, it's bigger than that. This is why this is poised to be the first quadrillion-dollar industry in our known lifetime. Quadrillion. Not trillion, quadrillion, because it goes beyond pharmaceutical drugs. It goes beyond what you eat and what you don't eat. Everything has to change. How your clothes are designed has to change. The material that's used to put your clothes together has to change. Every single company's office, all the large office buildings, the way they're constructed has to change. The material they use in the walls has to change. The desk have to change. The laptops, the screens, all of the blue light has to change. The cell phones have to change. The tablets have to change. The keyboards at your job have to change so that your wrist can be at a different angle and stop producing carpal tunnel syndrome. The desks have to change so that when you sit down at your desk at work for 8 hours a day, it doesn't cut off circulation to the lower extremities. Every single aspect of everything that we know of has to change in a relatively short period. The next 20 years. Cars have to change. The way the car seats are designed have to change. The material the car seats are designed out of has to change. The way the seats are structured, the way they set up from your arms to your back to your, all that has to change. Transportation has to change. The fuel has to change. Name another big industry. All of them have to change. So who's going to get the money? Are we going to just be employed at the jobs? Or are we going to be unemployed? Because that's the big secret in the employment market today. People in America are not unemployed because there's no jobs. People in America are unemployed because they're not qualified for the jobs that are out there. The majority of unemployed people in America right now are unemployed because they're not qualified for the jobs. People hit me up all the time. Enqi, listen, we about to do this little lecture on setting up resumes and woo, 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 woo. And they get mad with me sometimes. I'm like, I'll pass. They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I'll pass. If the people are still stuck at how to set up a resume, chances are, even if they set up that resume, there's no job market for them. If you're not qualified to set up a resume, where are you getting a job at? I'm not hiring you. If you can't organize your own life on paper, where are you going to work at? All right? So food, clothing, architecture, energy, technology, every aspect of technology has to change, right? The computers, all of this is blue light, right? This is blue light coming out of this only. Your cell phone, blue light only. Blue light drains your pituitary gland. In Japan right now, they're having a massive wave of men losing the ability to get a hard-on, erectile dysfunction, based solely on the fact that they're on computers and cell phones 15 hours a day on average there. And this is the teenagers, when you should be the most potent in your life. Why? Because the blue light overstimulates the pituitary gland. So your juices are flowing 24/7 when you look at a computer screen or a cell phone. This is why people can't sleep at night. This is why people with sickle cell anemia, they can't function in the music business, because you're up at night. It's a night-based culture. The show's at night, right? Show's at night. You're supposed to be asleep. Your circadian rhythm's off, right? It also drains the body of all of the vital nutrition, that combats inflammation. All of the nutrients that you have stored up in your body to reduce or eliminate inflammation is exhausted simply just from using your cell phone. And I'm guilty. Don't think when I'm talking to y'all, don't think that I'm not talking to me. This is a mirror. I'm talking about me, because people that know me know I live on this. You want to get in touch with Minister Enqi? Because I'm like, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? You got to find me online. I'm liable to be in Miami next week, North Carolina, January 20th. Me, Keith, and Rob, we doing the same lecture, a little bit more in depth. In Kannapolis. Where's Kannapolis? Who's been to Kannapolis before? Exactly. That's my point. Nobody knows where's Kannapolis. Right, but I'll be there. Middle of nowhere. I'll be there. I'll be in Kannapolis, right? That's just
20 minutes outside of Charlotte, and it's the home of Dale Earnhardt Motor Speedway. If that NASCAR, we going to the home of NASCAR with this.
right. Pray for me. Right? So, green technology. You guys have to understand what green technology is, and it's okay if y'all think I'm being repetitive, because the things I repeat, you guys will remember. If I'm repetitive, the things I repeat, you guys will remember. Green technology, right? Because I need you guys to really get these numbers in. Every government on earth right now is setting aside billions of dollars in their budget for green technology. What is green technology? This is an open session. Let's go. Come on. I know you. Wait, okay, so nobody's ever heard of green technology before? I'll start pointing the finger at people. Chase Millions, not you, buddy. Audience participation time, not you. Green technology, go ahead.
Green technology is technology that does not use the source of fossil fuels and things that the old paradigm used.
Close. Anybody else? Green technology. Brothers in the back. Okay. Green technology is technology Uncle Sonetta wants to see if Chase has the cheat code.
He's raising his hand. Let him get it in.
That comes from plants.
Close. Green technology, he said, is technology that comes from plants. Very close. It's technology that's not harmful to humans and or the planet. To make it very simple, green technology is technology that's not harmful for humans, animals, or the planet. Green technology is technology that's not harmful for humans, animals, or plants. So, who's qualified to produce green technology? Computer technicians, computer geeks, computer engineers? No. The only people that are going to be qualified to produce green technology is people that know and have a working understanding of biochemistry. How can I produce something that's not harmful to humans if I don't know how humans work? How can I produce something that's not harmful to the planet if I don't know how the planet works? How can I produce something that's not harmful to animals if I don't know how animals work? This is a wide open, this is the widest financial opportunity in history. See, I give you the game. I shoot straight. I was doing this since this was unpopular. People in my neighborhood was like, yo, this nigga bugging. Yo, what's up with black? Whoop, 360. Nobody was doing this. Now you type in vegan anything online, there's 1 million hits. Health anything, 1 million hits. Why? If you ask any of these overnight health gurus why they're teaching health, they're going to tell you a story because they got a product. Oh, well, you know, I had came down with this and, you know, I found out about this and woo, 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 woo. That's a lie. 9 out of 10 of these new people that are overnight health gurus are overnight health gurus because they're looking to make some money. They see the industry is wide open. But you can't really know how to heal if you don't know how the body works. Right? So why do I have this picture up here from Kemet? Because this is the oldest depiction of green technology right here. And I'm not going to go too deep into the picture because there's a lot I could do with this picture. But we'll just stick with him being green. We'll just stick with him being green. The term swage. People know the term swage because that's my most famous product, Mama Atomics. Outside of that, nobody heard of the term swage before I started using it. It's the ancient Egyptian word that means greening. Because the language was living, so everything was in the process of. So even the colors, like red was the process of becoming red. Blue was the process of becoming blue. So green is the process of becoming green. And guess what else the word meant? It meant healing. So back then, greening, the process of greening, was also the process of healing. Back then. A picture says 1,000 words. Sometimes the words are meaningful. So green technology is what I'm about positioning myself for and everybody else around me. This is where the real bag is going to be. I have to say that again. Bitcoin. Everybody's investing in Bitcoin. Why? What is Bitcoin? Somebody, anybody, what is Bitcoin?
Virtual money.
Virtual money. Right? Virtual currency. And Bitcoin's going through the roof. Why does any currency ever go through the roof? Why does any currency ever raise value? See? This is why we have to go in deeper. That's why I'll be like, oh, I'm in Enqi vision. Right? We got to go past the surface. A currency rises in value because what that currency represents has a value. What does this currency represent? Digital currency, okay. What's going to be traded online? What's being positioned online? What's the #1 trending topic online? So the Bitcoin is the short money. The Bitcoin's the short money. You don't want to be caught in the currency. You want to be caught in the tangible trade skill or product that the money's trading. That's where you want to invest your time and money. The other thing, right? Look, I give you a better example. Bitcoin is the dollar bill, right? Bitcoin's the dollar bill. Health is the gold. So what happened? At some point in time, without getting deep into conspiracy, right? 1933, the Federal Reserve, we're not going to do that. At some point in time, dollars representing gold, right? Dollars representing gold at some point. There are people that had a lot of dollars and they had a lot of money because the dollars represented gold. So it went through a rise as America rose. And then at some point we got taken off the gold standard. And what happened to the dollar? What happened to the gold that it represented? The gold kept going up. The dollar, because it just represents digits on a computer screen, went down. It's not a finite resource. Only finite resources, things that everybody cannot have, continue to rise in value. Only finite resources, things that everybody does not have and cannot have, continue to rise in value. This is why real estate will always go up. Why? Because every year there are more people on earth than there was last year. So since the space that those people can live on is still the same, the property goes up in value. So what I'm telling you is, invest your money in the thing that's going to continue to raise in value. And that's the education that positions you for the largest financial boom in history. They've already done the statistics. Do you understand the cost in redesigning skyscrapers? Redesigning the desk? Redesigning, I mean, when I say everything has to change, everything. When you go and use a copy machine, when I first started doing my books, we printed them. Me and my children printed them. We printed them. We did the cover. We cut them. We did every aspect of it. Now I send them off to get printed. But the smell from the ink used, if you at your job somewhere and you know what that printer ink smell like, that's toxic to your lungs. That creates inflammation. It causes a little rash in your lungs. Everything has to change. Pesticides have to change even. The things you use to kill cockroaches and mosquitoes, everything has to change. And only the people that know how people work are going to be positioned to get some of this money. And that is why this is valuable, because that's all going to take place digitally. Because there's no system right now in place that has a bead on that. So all of today's health industry is transmitted via social networks and online. That is the number one thing that's being sold and bought online. And because there's nothing more valuable than life itself, it's a safe bet. It's a safe bet. We're going to say it's a safe bet. Right? Minister, I thought you only knew the health. Look up Greco Financial Institute. When you get home, you can look it up. People at home in internet land, you can look up Greco Financial Institute. Greco Financial Institute gives you the same education in a few months as finance students going through college does. MBA. Series 8, I think it is. All the licenses you need to exchange mutual funds, stocks, bonds, etc., etc. Greco Financial Institute. Train people to do that. I got a scholarship there because I used to work at Millennium Securities. I don't even know if they're still open. So I graduated from Greco Financial Institute. I had a Series 7. and a 63. Why am I telling you that? Because so that you know that I'm telling you what I'm telling you. So see, this is going to remove the innocence from you, right? You know the saying, God takes care of babies and dummies? Just you'll be neither after this conversation. So if you don't start positioning yourself, by 2030, Wall Street is already done the projections. First ever quadrillion-dollar industry. If you don't position yourself, you're just going to watch that happen. Same thing like in the 90s with the computer people. They knew computers. They invested in computer-based companies. Billionaires was made overnight. Same thing with the health industry. Just on a larger scale, maybe 1,000 times over. Because if you have a working understanding of biochemistry, but you don't know computers, guess what's going to happen? A person that does know computers is going to have to hire you to consult for him so that he can develop the new technology. You may not know about engineering, but people that do know engineering are going to have to hire you to consult them on the things they're building. You may not know about designing clothes and the material used and how the nylon affects your body and how it affects the charge of the skin, how it weakens the first line of defense that your skin have against viruses, etc. coming in. But they don't know it either, and they're going to have to hire consultants who do. People that make desks, carpenters, they're going to have to hire people to say, okay, so now what angle, how should the wrist be so it doesn't produce carpal tunnel? How should the legs be positioned? What are the angles acceptable to keep circulation going in the lower extremities? They're going to have to figure out a new fuel source that doesn't have the barium and the other chemicals in the waste, so conspiracy theorists can stop saying they're spraying us on purpose. I don't even worry about spraying because I understand mineral relationships. It's just that simple. Somebody sprays barium over us, we just go get bananas and coconuts. Why? Potassium flushes the system of barium. It's that simple. Everybody else going right on loud. Oh man, look, they getting us, they killing us, they depopulating us. No. Depopulation is already in full effect. Heart disease goes up every single year. High blood pressure goes up every single year. Osteoporosis, cancer, AIDS deaths, quietly though. Everything still going on the incline. And it's crazy because you say, well, health information is everywhere. How come there's so much health information out there yet all of these quote unquote diseases are getting worse? Because most of the health information is no good. But people are in a global pandemic to get some health information because they're sick. So people know they can jump in front of them, whoop, and make some money. How come? Because you don't know how your body works. So if you don't know how your body works, that means you don't know if the person giving you health information knows what they're talking about or not. So you have to judge them based on their personality, how they're dressed, what school did they go to, what school didn't they go to, all of these other things besides actually knowing. See, if your name is Tony and you spell your name Tony, and then someone comes up and says, you know how to spell Tony? You spell Tony TQND. Immediately you know they don't know what they're talking about because you know how to spell Tony. But if you have cancer and somebody comes up and says, well, no, all you got to do is pluck this plant from the top of the mountain and drink this for 21 days, and then all of a sudden, you don't know. All they got to do is show you a couple of other people that they might have paid $200 to say, hey, I had cancer and I took that plant, and look at me. I'm now a triathlon. You don't know. You don't know them. You don't know the people doing the testimony. You don't know anything. You don't know how the plant works. You never heard of the plant before they mentioned it. You don't know the phytocompounds in that plant. You don't know how those phytocompounds in the plant influence the enzymes in your cells. You don't know any of that. So how do you know if they know what they're talking about? You don't. So outside of positioning yourself to make money, you have to position yourself to be able to weed BS from straight talk, right? Quadrillion-dollar industry. So in order to be able to take advantage, You have to be interdisciplinary with your biochemistry. What does that mean? Give you an example. Doctors go to school, they take biochemistry 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. But it's devoid of a relationship with nutrition. So they don't understand how to relate the chemical changes and the chemical reactions to health. The focus in medical school is medicine. Medicine is targeted at turning enzymes off or speeding them up, period. 90% of your pharmaceutical drugs target the enzymes in your cells, period. So they're looking at biochemistry from an enzyme set, period. How can they speed them up? How can they slow them down? The body's completely compartmentalized. The lungs have nothing to do with the heart. The heart has nothing to do with the liver, etc., etc., etc. That's not how the body works. So you got to be interdisciplinary with it. Right? Because in the Western society, which is the one we live, right? Hopefully we don't have any dreamers here, right? Yeah, because the Western society is... No. Don't knock the society you live in because it's the one you have. Figure out how to thrive in this one. This is where we are. That's what I teach my children. No sucker Win the race that you're in. Don't say this race is difficult. Oh my God, I wish I was in a different race where the people were running a little slower, where there weren't so many potholes. No. Get stronger, get faster, and think quicker. Win this race. This is the one you're in. So in the Western society's medical situation, our whole entire health industry, medicine and surgery has been split away from everything else. Okay, boop, those are doctors. Diets have been separated from doctors. That's a dietitian. Nutrition, this is the one that really blows my mind. Nutrition has been separated from people that teach diet. So you have dietitians and then you have nutritionists. How is it that you are teaching me diet and you don't know nutrition? Huh? So I need a dietitian and a nutritionist? What happens if they have conflicting statements? I guess we got to bring them to sign at the TV and let them argue on the couch, right? But the dietitian and the nutritionist, right? So these are all different disciplines that you're going to have to know to be qualified to not only be healthy in the future, keep your children healthy, but get some of that bag that's accumulating, right? So you got the doctor, you got the guy that puts together the diet, then you got the guy that puts together the nutrition, or ladies, right? And then you got a fourth dynamic, which is exercise. So that's a whole nother thing. So the people know nutrition and diet and quote unquote health, right? Surgery and medicine, don't know anything about exercise. As if somehow you can be healthy without exercising. Right? So now that's another discipline. Right? And then now none of these guys, the guy who knows surgery, the guy who knows medicine, the guy who knows diet, the guy who knows nutrition, the guy who knows exercise, right? None of those guys know herbs and plants. So now that's another discipline. Naturopath is what is called in collegiate, the collegiate arena. Naturopath. So now you have to go to another school to learn herbs and how herbs and natural compounds affect the body's health. Now wait a minute. There's yet another discipline. If you want to learn how to grow the herbs, now you got to go to agriculture school to be a farmer. Right? Now you got to learn how to grow it, or go to somebody else to learn how to grow the food. Right? That's 6 different disciplines that are real-time required for you to call yourself a healer. Because if you're a healer, you have to have some degree of proficiency in every one of those 6 or 7 areas. Where are they teaching that at? Where's that school located? You see, because it's going to cost me $150,000 to get the MD. It's going to cost me another $80,000, depending on where you go. They got some as low as $12,000 to be a dietitian or a nutritionist. Another $30,000 to be a physical therapist. My nephew just graduated, lugging that debt with him, right? They got some programs as low as $10,000 to be a naturopath. Some as low as $10,000 to be an agriculturalist. So, let's say, right? Because I don't want to count your pocket. You know, that's disrespectful in the community, right? They don't count my pocket. You don't know what I'm working with. So let's say you had the $250,000 I just added up to go get that education. Who has a spare 30 years that would be required for all that schooling? Who's got a spare 12 years to go get that MD? And then leave that and don't go get any money. Go spend another 4 years to become a dietitian. And leave that after those 16 years and go spend another 4 years to be a nutritionist. Go back and get another 4 years to be a physical therapist. Go back another 2 years to be a naturopath. Who's got that time and money? You see? To spend on being interdisciplinarily well-rounded, right? And I didn't even put in inventor. That just takes imagination. Tech reformer, right? Those are the new guys that are going to be positioned for the bag, right? And remember, everything surrounds this. I know I'm getting in close because I just talk with my hands sometimes. I wish I could just grab it and pass it around. Usually I have one in my bag. Do I have one in my bag right now? Let me check. It's barricaded. I travel with a cell in my bag, too. I travel with a cell in my bag, literally. So when I have these conversations, I can pass you a cell around. Because this is what I do. I eat, sleep, and relieve. Right? So everything has to change. Every discipline outside of health has to conform to how they affect your cells. So the new cell phones have to be designed based on the effect that they have on your cells. I used to work at Verizon Wireless. When I'm telling you this from example. I was there before they put the warnings in the cell phone boxes. I was there when the class action lawsuit started because people were getting tumors and cancers. I was there when they started. I was there to watch the panic sweep through the whole company at the highest levels. Then they had tons of literature in the boxes, and you know what they banked on? People being stupid. We are though. Because no one, including me, reads what's in the box. Now I know what's in the box, so I don't need to read it. But no one reads the papers in the box. In fact, some people don't even leave with the box from the store unless they plan on maybe returning the phone. We throw that all away. But it tells you in there, in the test they did, after 8 minutes, you're getting damaging radiation. After 8 minutes, you're getting damaging radiation from your cell phone. Who's made a phone call that's lasted more than 8 minutes? Who's been on social media on their phone longer than 8 minutes? Now, guess what heightens the damaging radiation? If you get excited. Because if you get excited, you start to release adrenaline, and adrenaline catalyzes the radiation. So, let me give you an example. You're on your cell phone. Baby daddy. Baby mama. Right? We arguing. Nobody wants to hang up though, right? And if you do hang up on me, I'm calling you right back 1,000 times until you pick up. Nobody's telling you that you're killing yourself with this. So the new technology has to be designed so that doesn't happen. Children don't even have a well-developed blood-brain barrier or internal immune system yet. Aren't our children on the tablets though? Pregnant women spend their whole time pregnant with the laptop or the tablet sitting right there in front of the baby. Tablet. Think of the word tablet. Just do it like that. Tablet. Tablet. Right? What if we take off the second T? What is that? Table. That's what tablets were designed to use. So the safety studies on tablets were designed from people using them with the tablet on the table, not with it on your lap right above your crotch and your nuts. Not with it right above your uterus or your womb. Not with it with a developing fetus 3 to 4 inches away from it. So who's qualified to develop that new technology? Not the people who've been making the old technology, unless they're going to hire somebody that's interdisciplinarily studied in every area of cell function, right? So hopefully I'm drilling this home. Food, clothing, architecture, energy, technology, transportation, recreation, athletes. Everything around athletes has to change. I didn't even put it up there because the longer I think about this, more the bag gets larger. Who knows that almost every single athlete after the game is on IV treatments? You see? There's an ugly side to the game you don't get to see. It's just like the street corner, right? You get to see the guy with the flashy car, the nice girl, but you don't get to see him when he's in jail, right? You get to see them wave the MVP trophy around, but you don't get to see them hooked up to IV bags every night after the game. You don't get to see the NFL players that can't walk past the locker room because they lost 20 pounds of water and minerals in the game. And they do that every game. Every game. And what do? They go get an IV bag. How much is the IV bag? Anywhere from $2,000 to $20,000 a bag. So if I play basketball, right? What is that, 80 games? So let's lowball it, right? Let's say, and we know, first of all, we know us. So we know we're not ever doing the cheapest thing if we got money. We're always getting the, wait, how much is that one? Okay, so if that one's 2,000, that was 10,000. What's the difference between, you know what? Nah, it's for my health. I'm gonna just go ahead and get the 10,000 one, dog. So let's just lowball it to the 2,000 times 80 games. How much money are the athletes being bled out of? Because they don't know any better. What's in the IV bag? They don't even know. I do. The same thing that's in Mama Atomics. Minerals. In a specific combination. See? It's more than just the minerals. It's what combination are they in. What are they coupled with? Are there any active enzymes with those minerals to help form the biological substances that the body needs to have them in so that your body can use them instead of them coming out in your urine or your feces? Right? So since the people that know the biochemistry, they know that, they get the chart, they get to watch you run up and down, for the $1 million contract, and then they're doing nothing the whole game. They sit down. All right, you finished? Okay, cool. Come on. What is it? 15 guys on the team? Yeah, come on. 15 times 2, 30,000? Yeah, come on, guys. Come on, guys. Sit right here. Whoop. Let me connect all of you guys to the IV real quick. Yeah, you got another game tomorrow? Okay, yeah, I see you tomorrow night. 30,000. Just like that. How many teams is it in the NBA? What about the A-League, the D-League, the G-League, the guys that we don't see and watch? Huh? What's the difference between a lot of those guys? It's nutrition. They don't have the big money yet, so they can't sustain themselves on the court the same way NBA guys can. That's why Lonzo Ball looks so terrible. The new guys just getting in, they got to get acclimated to the pace. That's the only difference between college and NBA. Speed and strength and endurance. It's not skill set. That's why you see guys that be nice. They come in first 2-3 years, they garbage. After that, they put on a little strength, a little endurance. That's what we see anyway when watching the games. Backdrop is they get their nutrition together. They figure out how to manage their personal life. Otherwise, then they Derrick Rose. They're injured every 5 seconds. Soon as somebody breathes on you, whoop, oh, he's gonna be out for 3 weeks. Huh? I thought you did this for a living, B. Oh, I forgot. Okay, you was popping bottles. Got you. Okay. See? We don't see that side. The IV bags after every game. So supplements are gonna have to be designed for a professional level. Who's gonna get that money? The gyms have to be changed. The way gyms are structured has to be changed. There's nothing but blue lights in the gym. There's no fresh air. Gyms are some of the most unhealthy places you can be. There's no blue light, there's no fresh air. How can you be healthy? How can you even be concentrated on the lowest goal in the gym? What's the most basic goal in the gym? Come on, Ant. This is your area of expertise. Burning fat. It's oxygen that burns fat. This is why you got martial artists that know how to burn fat without exercising, because they're concentrated on the breath. All right, so what do we have? Living Biochemistry, livingbiochemistry.com, 18 months. The course is $2,000 if you pay it in one shot. But because we don't have financial aid set up, I set up my own type of financial aid for you. So you can pay monthly, you can pay, 2 payments a year, etc., etc. And you will be taught this go round, side by side. I have doctors, I have nurses that are not only taking the class, but they're helping me teach the class. Why? Because quite contrary, see, when I talk to my folks, the room look like this. But when I talk to health professionals, it be packed, because they understand this already. And they getting 200,000 a year, and they like that lifestyle. So they need to come here, the information today that's gonna help them position themselves for tomorrow. And position their children so that their children don't have a drop in lifestyle. They have to be focused, ready. And how I found this out? Teaching. I used to live in Philly. In fact, before I came here, actually this morning I came here, I dropped off my stuff, and then we had to jump in the car and shoot up to the Bronx so I could do rehearsal for Old Heads, a web TV series that's centered out in Philly. Urban drama, of course, but it's centered around the relationship between the older generation and the younger generation, and the older generation being able to guide the younger generation into a better situation. So I really thought the storyline was appropriate. But this is the situation we in. So when I was teaching out there doing Sunday school, we charging $5 a donation. So we're not even charging $5. Like if you got $5, pay it. We need to keep the lights on. If not, don't worry about it. Come in, it's all love. We had 12 people. But one day I seen somebody coming in scrubs. Sat down, he loved it. He got right up after the lecture and said, Hawk, that guy right there, does he have any books? He was like, yeah, those are all his books up there. He bought one of every book. Next week, he was back with 5 pre-med students. The week after that, there was 10. Before you know it, they had their own side of the room in my class. Before you know it, the director of, I don't know what his title was, right? I dropped out of college. Dropout. Before you know it, the director of the teaching staff at Temple University brought me down to teach the teachers. So I had a room like this, jam-packed, standing room only, full of only the teachers. And they were bringing me back so I could teach them, and then they could turn around and remix my and teach the students. Because they knew the value. They knew the value even more so than I did. Because I was teaching them for a $5 donation. They were taking what I taught them and turning around and teaching that to someone else for $80,000 in debt. So, we even have 6- and 7-figure entrepreneurs in the health industry that are going to be a part of the course. Because, guess what? Guess who they're contacting? Me. Yo, Enqi, I got this health business down here. I got this health business in California. I got this health business in Texas. I have more consultations every day than I can physically do. You got that school, right? Let's set up a deal where you send me the people that complete your school so I can pay them $35 to $50 an hour to do consultations. Huh? I know. Everybody around here is getting $50 an hour to talk on the phone. I know. So we have those guys. They want to bring you into their business and also teach you the business model to set up your own. You see? That was the one thing I think, my personal opinion, that my predecessors didn't do well. Sabi didn't multiply himself into 1,000 Sabis. So Sabi's missing, everybody's in a frenzy. Oh my God, what are we going to do next? Oh my God, oh, whoo, look, this KT and Enqi. Oh, okay. All right, no, we got Enqi and KT, so you know, we're all right. Whoo, wait a minute, they're in North America. We're in the South. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, wait, we got, I'm suing. Amun, okay. We got 4 guys. Huh? How many people on Earth again? 8 billion? 9 billion? Who's going to help all those people? Oh, okay. So, we're taking volunteers. People that want to volunteer, chasemillionsrocks@gmail.com. If you have some sort of history or you are professional anywhere in the health industry, we'd love to have you in the ranks. Join us. Send me your resume, chasemillionsrocks@gmail.com. Also, for any of the first God Complex course students that completed the course, I think we still have about 4 or 5 slots for scholarships left. Send me a 100 to 200 word essay on why you should get the scholarship, and you'll be considered. Partial or full, we're giving away some seats. All right, so chasemillionsrocks@gmail.com for volunteers and or people that want to be a part of the scholarships. Yes, we have indigenous farmers, marketing specialists. Everybody is loaded in the course. Why? Because they're positioning themselves. Don't miss the boat. All right, so now we're going to start to get to the book. That was the why. Now this part's going to be a lot quicker, and then we're going to wrap up, bring on Keith so he can give you the most beautifulest thing in this world. It's just like that. I get it, yeah. Right? All I can hear in my mind right now from that song is breaking down the organic compounds. 20 years ago he told you that. That was prophetic if you see where the economy is now. Right, so here's the hidden table of content. So people that buy the book, you're not going to get this unless you see this. Right? There's a hidden table of contents. All right, because I had somebody ask me, because the book's been on pre-sale, so some people have their books already. That's why I don't have that many books on the table, because I had to stop fulfilling pre-orders online to bring you some books. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had any books, and the books is big and thick. So I was kind of like thinking a little greedy. I was like, you know what? I should just send everybody from the lecture to the website so I don't have to carry 40 pounds of books. Anyway, people was asking me, what makes this book a grimoire? Because very light in the upper left-hand corner of the book, it says a biochemical grimoire. And so a grimoire is a magical book. So for me to get that point across, what is magic? The power to influence elements via the mind or supernatural methods. What are elements? Elements are what we need to consume in our diet daily as minerals. What is science? The detailed explanation and simplification of magic via text and demonstration. Very simple. So the hidden contents is basically what cells would tell you about themselves if they could talk directly to you. And it's spaced out through the book so that you'll have the prerequisite information to understand this hidden narrative. Hidden in the book. Okay? It's the cellular narrative. All right? Now we give y'all the pages. It starts on page 33. The hidden narrative ends on page 330. All right? So on page 33, you're going to get cellular development, how cells develop. See, this is crucial. If you don't know this cellular narrative, you can't be a real healer, period. And I know 99% of the guys telling you that they know how to heal don't know this information, right? So if you don't know how a cell develops, what does that mean? That means how the structures in a cell are built, how are microtubules created, how are mitochondria replicated, how is an endoplasmic reticulum, how is that created? What does the endoplasmic reticulum do? What does that have to do with your hormones? Like, how are those things made? If you don't know how those things are made, then you don't know if you're putting in the raw nutrition for your cells to be able to make those things. Okay. It was thinking. Just rewind it on YouTube over and over. Sorry, you'll get it. Page 55. The misuse of ancient technology that caused the epidemic of mass metabolic illness via cellular misinformation and the death or mutation of metabolic enzymes. That is where we're at. The world did not always have this plague of metabolic illness. This just started about 150 years ago. What is cellular information? How is cellular information transmitted cell to cell? Right? Because we know cells have over 100,000 chemical reactions per second in each cell. And that reaction has to be synchronized with every other cell of the same type in order for them to be successful. Meaning, if you have, let's say, 100,000 liver cells in your liver, each one of them are performing maybe 100,000 chemical reactions per second, and they must all happen at the same time with every other one of them. How does that happen? How does the information there get transmitted to the spleen, the liver, etc., etc.? Page 174. Page 184 to 187. How the information is created in the cell. Page 203. How information impacts cells. Right? This is the key to controlling cell function and healing. People talking about they know plants. Okay. So what is in the plant that's being transmitted to the cell to change the behavior of the cell? What is that? See? That's the argument I have with the mushroom guys, and then they tap out. Whoop. Because they're like, nah, it's the medicinal mushrooms and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, but what are the compounds in the mushroom that make the mushroom medicinal? And can I get those somewhere else without the fungus? Matter of fact, where'd the mushroom get them? Because those are parasites. So if they got them from a tree, why not I just get some of that tree bark? Simple. Page 320 to 330. How the misuse of ancient technology that caused the epidemic of mass metabolic illness via cellular misinformation and the death or mutation of metabolic enzymes moves from metabolic illness to genetic illness. Because that's the larger conversation. They tell you you can change metabolic illness with diet, lifestyle, herbs, etc. But genetic illness, they just stay away from that conversation. Woo, I was born with this. I'm stuck with that. No, we deal with that. So this is the hidden narrative in the book. Right? Now, here are the table of contents, and because of time, I do not have the time to go through them with you. Right? So you can take a picture, watch the video at home, do what you're going to do. But I will say this. I had the book on pre-order from like February last year. I told everybody the book would be ready in May. May came around, I pushed it back to June. June came around, I pushed it back to July. Some people did me greasy and made me focus in. I got some messages like, yo, Enqi, you know, I love the work you're doing and all that, God, you know, so just go ahead and keep that as a donation. I text back, keep what as a donation? Nah, you know that little bread I had sent you for the book and all that, don't even worry about that, it's all good, I'm ordering new products anyway. I'm like, wait a minute, no, the book's still coming. They think books pop out like a microwave dinner, like, no, I'm still working on the book. So at the time, those people stole the book. They got the book for so cheap, they stole it. Promise you. Because I had only intended on making a book about biochemistry at maybe about 100 pages. That's it. Due to personal things I'm going to change my perspective on what we need to do to position ourselves. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do what no healer has ever done. I'm going to give you all of the working protocols to reverse illnesses. That takes money out of my pocket because you don't need to call me anymore. Consultations are over. Get the book. People have been calling me for consultations the past month. Yo, and I charge $250 an hour, and people pay it. I'm like, nah. Get the book. It's gonna be cheaper. Because you're gonna usually need more than one consultation. Nah. Get the book. It's gonna be cheaper, right? So in the book, we go through everything from acne, autoimmune disease, anemia, aneurysms, anxiety, autoimmune disease, birth defects. People think they locked in the birth defects. That's not true. It's nutrition, right? So we go through all that. Now, let me show you something else we do, and then I'm going to close. Right? My computer's slow. Right? This is the beginning of the book, though. Here, what we see here. This is about cellular development and how cells developed and how they develop different enzyme sets and how no one diet can help everyone. Because we're not the same. Right? I'm from Haiti. It's impossible that a person from Germany can have the same enzyme set that I have. It's hot all year round in Haiti. Different plants grow there. So my cells developed around a different set of nutrition. So they have different enzymes to break down those things that we consumed. Okay. You'll get it in the book. Yep. Fire away. 200. Now, here's what I wanted to give y'all an example of what one of the protocols looks like. So this is how we deal with diabetes. Here's the full protocol. So people with type 2 diabetes, type 1 diabetes, they hit me up. This is what they get. At $250 an hour. This is what they get. So what does that mean? That means not only do you have the book, you don't need to call me, but then people can call you. Okay. Security bag alert. Right? So, and what did I do? What did I put in here? See, I put in here because this is the example. So it's not going to be for all of them. But what I did was, just for one of them, see, we're going to do it in the course and go much deeper in depth. But just for one, I wanted to show you an example so that it's not the YouTube guy. I need you to know that the information comes through me, not from me. Through me, not from me. So judging me doesn't invalidate or validate the information. This is Dr. Alfred Fisher of the Barshop Institute at the University of Texas Health Science Center. What's he an expert in? How high glucose inhibit your body's ability to utilize tyrosine. What is tyrosine used for, Minister Enqi? Well, if you guys knew biochemistry, you'd know. However, you don't. So, tyrosine is needed for all the pigment centers in the brain. Tyrosine is needed for heart cell synthesis. Tyrosine is needed for T3 and T4, which is that? What is that? The thyroid hormones. Tyrosine is needed for the mitochondria to function because the first respiratory pigment, cytochrome 1, has tyrosine as an outlet. Let's say that again then. I'm going to rewind it. High glucose levels inhibit your body's ability to metabolize tyrosine. So, I'll give you a real life example. If you feed your children Pop-Tarts, Frosty Flakes, sugary pastries and cereals in the morning with cow's milk, it is impossible for them to think. What's happening, Tone?
Why is that?
It's the card in the camera that's saying no card.
All right, so you're going to have to change it, put a different one in. Don't waste time. Why is that? Because tyrosine is required for all of the pigment centers in the brain. Tyrosine is also required for your brain to produce dopamine. It's the precursor. Tyrosine is also required for your body to produce melanin. It's the precursor. So there is no optimal pigment function without tyrosine. There's no optimal brain function without tyrosine. So people that have addictions that they're dealing with, how we deal with the addiction is dealing with the body's ability to produce healthy levels of dopamine all by itself again. Because that's what the drugs do. Boost the amount of dopamine receptors you have and boost the output of dopamine. Right? So, that's just one thing. That's just one thing. But we go through, right? We go through, and I go through every step. I just do this for diabetes so that you can know for all of the protocols I can do the same thing, right? But I go through every step. with scientific clinical data from the top universities and scientists that specialize in each area of each protocol that's listed. So you know it's not coming from me. Just through me. Grabbing it at top dollar and then putting a cheaper price tag on it for you. Right? So you have all of the clinical data to substantiate what's in the protocol. So when we talk about magnesium, if I say magnesium controls the way your cells metabolize sugar or insulin, you may not know, you don't know how it works. So you got to trust, oh, yo, nah, Enqi is kind of real, God. I'm feeling that shit, you know, I'm going to have to go along with that. No. This is what the scientists, the Harvard University, this is what these guys are saying. If I tell you chromium, vanadium, I have all of the papers here. You see that? Vanadium and diabetes, the therapeutic potential of glucose tolerance factor, the relationship between the level of glutathione impairment of glucose metabolism and complications of diabetes mellitus, selenium linked to lower diabetes risk. Like all of these are the clinical papers. So you know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, what you're doing. And then that eliminates people from saying Enqi suggested. Enqi didn't suggest. Harvard suggested. The Diabetes Association suggested. They're telling you that chromium controls glucose tolerance factor. What is glucose tolerance factor? That's the thing in your body that allows your body to tolerate glucose. So if you don't have glucose tolerance factor in your body, how are you going to tolerate glucose? You can't. That makes you glucose resistant. Oh, okay. So then we need whatever makes that. Boom. Now we got that, right? Placental vanadium in gestational diabetes mellitus. You know how much women hit me up and say I got gestational diabetes? What is that? The doctor told me it's cool though, because it's going to go away after the pregnancy. I'm like, the doctor told you it's cool to have diabetes while you're pregnant? And you went along with that. It's okay. You keep eating the same thing. I got it. Your kid's going to be retarded. Cool. Special ed. All right. And you're going to wonder why he can't do well in school. Oh, no. He's healthy. By whose standards? You had diabetes while you carried him. So what does that mean? Your body requires sugar for energy. Your brain, your nervous system requires sugar to function. So if you had an impaired ability to process sugar, that means that you couldn't properly pass on sugar to the baby. That means your baby is improperly developed. So when that baby gets exposed to sweets, he's going to have a higher propensity to wig out. Now what are we going to do? ADD, ADHD, give him some drugs. And what are you going to do? Nothing, because you don't know any better. Good job. Right? Fatty acids in the treatment of diabetic patients. Mitochondrial dysfunction in diabetes patients. Right? All of this lovely good stuff. Right? We do the same thing for HIV. Now for HIV, I only put one example in the book because I thought this was just beautiful. Right? We know Dr. Sebi, right? But Dr. Sebi didn't leave you a blueprint on how to fix it yourself. He just told you what to buy from him to fix it. He didn't tell you how to fix it though. So I thought it was awesome when I found this, and I'm going to read this and we're about to close. Because I need you to hear this because it blew my mind when I read it. HIV-1 encodes for one of the human glutathione peroxidases. As a consequence, as it is replicated, its genetic needs cause it to deprive HIV-1 seropositive individuals not only of glutathione peroxidase, but also of the four basic components of this seleno enzyme, namely selenium, cysteine, glutamate, and tryptophan. Right? Now, what does that mean? Does anyone ever known a person to die from AIDS? Incorrect. Incorrect. Has anyone ever known a person to die from diabetes? Anybody? Don't be scared.
Complications.
Incorrect. Correct. No one dies from AIDS or diabetes because it just breaks down your body's ability to protect itself. What you die from is the things that your body can't defend itself against because you have AIDS or diabetes. So when they say heart disease is the #1 cause of death in America, Enqi, why don't you spend more time talking about heart disease? I say, well, what's the cause of heart disease? Diabetes. I say, oh, well then now we're having a heart disease conversation. What's the #1 cause of the brain disease? Oh, diabetes. Oh, so then we're having a brain disease conversation. What's the #1 cause of autoimmune disease? Your diet. Oh, so then we're having an autoimmune disease conversation. What's the #1 cause of mental disease? An imbalance in neurochemistry. Where does neurochemistry come from? Your diet. If you don't have tyrosine in your diet, or your body's unable to process tyrosine because of the high blood sugar, how can you have a balance in neurochemistry? I just told you, tyrosine is the foundational amino acid for all of your neurochemistry. All of it is based on tyrosine. If you don't have enough in your diet, no neurochemistry. If you don't have tryptophan in your diet, or if you're unable to metabolize the tryptophan in your diet, you don't have any ability to produce serotonin, which means you're gonna have an attitude all the time. Right? I'm not even gonna look at the girls, right? Right? If you don't have serotonin, guess what happens? All of my 12th dimension metaphysical maniacs, there's no pineal gland function. You see? The main job of the pineal gland is to convert serotonin into melatonin. Melatonin doesn't pop up from nowhere. So if you can't sleep, that means you have a breakdown in that track somewhere. Because it's the tryptophan you eat that gets converted to serotonin in your gut, that gets converted to melatonin in your brain, that regulates your mitochondria, that regulates your energy levels, that regulates your circadian rhythms, that regulates your hormone. See, I can walk you right on through that. Okay. You're getting it. So, let me go back to this article and then we're closing up. So, eventually this depletion process causes severe deficiencies of all these substances. Mind you, all those substances are what runs your natural immune system. So I need you to catch that. The HIV-1 virus encodes for the substance that runs your immune system. So, by proxy, it shuts your immune system down because it uses all the nutrients that you need for your immune system to run. You'll get that, some of us, later on. It's all right, watch the video. These in turn are responsible for the major symptoms of AIDS, which include immune system collapse, greater susceptibility to cancer, myocardial infarction, muscle wasting, depression, that's also called cachexia, depression, diarrhea, psychosis, dementia. As the immune system fails, associated pathogenic cofactors must become responsible for a variety of their own unique symptoms. Any treatment of HIV/AIDS must therefore include normalization of the body levels of glutathione, glutathione peroxidase, selenium, cysteine, glutamine, and tryptophan. Now, how come Magic Johnson looks better and better and better? Because his nutritionist knows this. Now you know it. Okay, it's all right. Although various clinical trials have improved the health of AIDS patients by correcting one or more of these nutritional deficiencies, they have not until the present been addressed together. Physicians involved in a selenium and amino acid field trial in Botswana, however, are reporting that this nutritional protocol reverses AIDS in 99% of the patients receiving it, usually within 3 weeks. All right, so we're going to move forward. Questions? And wait, again, not from me, just through me.
Enrolled in the God Complex course, but I haven't finished it.
Okay.
Should I finish it before considering?
Well, you don't have to. You only have to finish it first if you're trying to get the scholarship. If you're like, nah, I'm good, just put me in, you're in. It's 18 months, so you're not gonna get lost. We're gonna take our time every step of the way. In fact, there's gonna be a class. I'm glad you asked me that, because there's gonna be a class And we're gonna spend probably a week. At any moment, my computer will feel like switching to the slide I want to show. But it's going to be a class on every one of the different parts of the table of contents. And there's about 78 sections in the book. So there's going to be a class on every one of those, and there's going to be a DVD on every one of those. And all of those DVDs will be on EnqiTV.com. So anybody that has Enqi TV membership, you'll be able to see those. Now, here's the thing with that. Enqi TV is going to $50 a month. So the people who already bought memberships that were paying beyond month to month, because it was $9 a month. So some people pay for the whole year. Those people will keep that for the rest of the months of their, so they lit. Everybody else, $50 a month, pay like you wait. All right, but you don't get the live interaction with me and the rest of the crew. So I'll have the farmers, the doctors, the nurses, everybody every week doing the live Q&A. So it's, I see you over there causing trouble, Lily. Right? All right, so, no, you don't have to. And also, on that same vein, the first course, somebody asked me that, what's the difference between the first course and the second course? The first course was primarily anatomy, physiology, and the relationship of plants to minerals. This one goes in on how it all, how the magic happens in the cells. All right. Here we go. So all of these will have at least a 1 week or 2 week window each where we go through each one of them. And you won't be able to complete the course unless you can produce somebody who you have changed their health. So it's not just going to be the books and the information, the essays, the tests, the projects, not just that. You have to produce somebody, document somebody's health. It can even be yours that you've changed. Even if it's just I lost 30, 40 pounds. I reversed type 2 diet. You have to show it. We're going to spend a good 2 weeks in the class on research. How to research. What is research? It is not a Google search. Right, architect? We're gonna deal with what constitutes real research and what constitutes globally respected results, so that we could take this thing from small rooms all over the globe, so we can really get that back, right? Reproducibility, right? Question? Now wait, let me say this before you get your question out. Do not try to sneak me. People do that every lecture. I say questions, people be scared. No questions. Soon as I say, all right, that's it, I step to the side. It's like 20 people like, yo, so let me just ask you one thing. Like, no. Ask me one thing, time is now.
I need advice as far as like people in my family that and it's more so not into the information.
Don't waste your time on them. The most difficult thing I had to do when learning this information was getting comfortable with watching people die. Everybody's not going to make it. Yes, the most difficult thing I had to do was come to grips with watching people I love die from simple things that's easy to reverse. Even after they saw me do Jesus like I did Jesus in front of them. They told me my daughter would never walk again. They told my son's mom she had diabetes forever. You know, we can help you manage and live with it. They told my aunt she had 4 months to live from her cancer. You see, my aunt do 10. And that's only because she died when she felt like it. Because I pop up in her house like 5 years after she already beat it. And I start seeing like Mars bars wrappers in the garbage, 6 packs of Pepsi's back in the fridge. I'm like, Bertha, what's up? I'm like, listen, okay, I'm tired. I want to go how I live. I can't do what you're doing forever, okay? Healthy living is killing me. So she made a conscious choice. She went back to her diet, the cancer came back, and however, people watch me do all this. And they still like, nah, God, yo, nah, you know what I'm saying? Hold on, let me put this joint out. Yo, listen, nah, next week, God about to get on my grind. Next week, I'm about to get on my grind. Nah, I just blowing this weed, but the weed good for you. The cigar you wrap it in isn't. 4,000 unregulated chemicals every blunt. 4,000 unregulated chemicals every blunt. Not to mention the colors. In fact, in the book, I have a section where I show what the artificial colors do to your DNA. Not from me, from the labs. Right? So, questions?
I'm in the health field. I'm gonna get out. I seriously want to get out. I don't believe I hate what I do.
It's all right. Stay in there for a little while. Position yourself. Get the new education. And then you'll be able to move around from there. Because I have a student that's going to be in the course, and her job right now is she's a nationwide doctor instructor. But she's been following me for years. So she trains doctors. Yo, I just laugh at this stuff. It's crazy. I'm like, yeah, I dropped out. Like, yeah, but no. I'm following you. And the doctors follow her. So technically, they're following me. They're just a little bit behind. So people watch Dr. Oz show and all them shows like that, and they see what I was talking about 3-4 years ago come up on those shows now, and they blow, oh my God, it's amazing. I seen What the Health. I'm about to get ready to meet. I'm like, what? What the Health was child's play. Like Chase, I could put Chase on What the Health and shut it down. So it's, you gotta do what you gotta do. You didn't delete the car first, did you? It's all right. Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. Tone, it's all right. How you know how much time is required? Right. But now you can, like I said, you can do home study. If you get the book, I'm gonna do DVDs on every week's class. Also, people that have Enqi TV, they don't need to get DVDs because it'll just be up there, digital land for them. So there's ways you could do home study at your own pace. Only thing you'll be missing is the live interaction. You know what I'm saying? So you can do home study. And the book is real comprehensive too by itself. So.
Also, in the protocols that you give, is it provided, is this information provided in terms of where to get a lot of, like, for example,
backing?
Yeah,
oh, the supplements.
Well, not just the supplements, I'm sure. I'm talking about minerals and all those, elements and stuff like that.
That's why that's at the back of the book. No. I mean, the protocol's at the back. So some of the stuff I do sell, but some of the stuff I don't. So a lot of people, one of the things they respect about me is when they come to me for consultations, usually most of the stuff that I tell them they need to go get is not from me. So they know I'm not profiting when I tell them that they need this, that, or the other. They got to go get that from somewhere else. But when you go through the book, you get to see how and why and when and where and et cetera, et cetera. So some people be like, well, what type of calcium do I need? What type of... That's where going through the book first gives you the... So by the time you get to that, you're like, oh, okay, boop, 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 boop. Right now, Tone? So if you got PayPal, then we could do it. Here's the thing with alkaline. Oh man, we go into this in the book. All right, so I'm gonna just try to do this quick. Here's the thing with alkaline. Life is based on the balance between acid and alkaline. Your body is made out of acids. Your nuclear DNA, mitochondrial DNA, acid. All of the structures that they create are made from amino acids like hormones, enzymes, your bones, everything, acids. Acids run on electrons for fuel. That's how they run. That's what they need to function. Alkalines or bases, as you'll find them in textbooks, bases, donate electrons. So this is why we need the alkaline diet to feed the acid body. So that creates a circuit. So the thing is this, people knowing that most people don't understand the biochemistry have made up tons of baloney to sell people BS. So like for instance, you'll see on a water bottle, pure alkaline water. No such thing in existence. That does not exist. Pure water is neutral. It can't be alkaline because real alkalinity comes from nutrients, minerals. So if there's nothing in the water, then it can't be alkaline. Ionizers do not make real water. A water molecule, this is just basics. A water molecule is H2O. An ionizer breaks the water molecule in half, so you have HOs and Os. So that's no longer even a water molecule. So it doesn't even function in your body the same way as water does. Now, what is the first stop in your body when you eat anything or drink anything? The stomach. What's in the stomach? So if over time we limit our body's ability to produce hydrochloric acid, we won't be able to metabolize or digest anything. So going over alkaline is always going to be a problem, especially if the alkalinity is synthetic. So now Fiji is always about a 7.4, 7.8 calcium, magnesium, etc. is one of the, I like Fiji. But I stick away from anything purified. Stay away from anything purified. Spring water, artesian water, etc. Natural sources of water. You're always going to be good. They're always going to have calcium, magnesium. They're always going to have electrolytes. They're always going to have bicarbonates. Bicarbonates is what your mucous membrane produces to neutralize acids in the body. And that should be the primary function. You opened up something. So I want to go all the way in on it. Because people that got a little bit of the information are now telling people online to use baking soda to cure all kinds of. So the problem is any disease that baking soda can cure, your body can also cure if your mucous membrane was able to secrete a healthy amount of bicarbonate on its own. So the idea is not to get in the fake baking soda to neutralize the acid, it's to heal the mucous membrane, like Sabi said, so that the mucous membrane, he just didn't go all the way, so that the mucous membrane can secrete enough bicarbonates to neutralize the acid by itself. And so what do we need to put in there? Well, sodium, calcium. Get the book. I'm not telling y'all what you need for that. So we're closing and we're gonna bring on
Quick, what about distilled water? And
distilled water is no good to drink. Let's destroy the room on distilled water right now. Distilled water is only good for making tea. Why? Because distilled water leaches minerals. Distilled water pulls minerals from things. It pulls nutrients. So if you drink distilled water, it's going to pull them from you. So if you're on a heavy metal detox, distilled water is good. It's going to help pull the minerals from the bones, the joints, etc. It's going to help you get rid of minerals. But most of us are demineralized already, so you don't need anything to get rid of the minerals that you have stored up. You have to put more minerals in your body. So distilled water is no good. However, if you're making a concoction where you're trying to pull the minerals out of something, like in tea, you want to pull all the phytonutrients and minerals out of the plant possible, then you use distilled water, because now that water is no longer distilled once the minerals are put back into the water, because living water is loaded with enzymes and minerals and all kinds of other stuff. So when you have distilled water, it's dead. So the water looks to pull all that stuff back to build the stuff back up. So if it does that from you, then it'll do that from you. You put the plants in there, it'll extract everything out the plant and you'll have a good, robust tea. But outside of that, you always want to go natural. Spring water. Because remember, life didn't start with machines. So usually once a machine comes in, you're going downhill already. So ionizers, distillers, none of that. Spring water is not distilled. Ocean water is not distilled. Think about this. When you leave from America and go to a foreign country, they tell you don't drink the water. Why? Oh, it's going to make you sick. See, you go in Enqi vision, right? And you start to ask the other questions. Well, how come it's not making the people that live there sick? They got a stronger immune system than you do. Your body's not used to all the bacteria floating around in there. Their body's already immune to all those bacteria. So it's going to shut you down. We're drinking sterilized water. Sterilized. Your immune system has to have practice. How your immune system going to deal with a little bug if it don't get practice with? It's like boxing. They got to spar every day to stay sharp. So you want spring water, artesian water, distilled water for certain stuff, ionized water, none of the time, ever, out of a machine, ever, never, nah.
I'm sorry, I had a
Oh, one more.
And that one of the question is why, and I don't know if it's
Go ahead.
primarily in ethnic or black communities, but why is there such a high thing of like prostate problems and fibroid problems? Why is that such a high rate?
Good question. There's a couple of things. The main thing is vitamin D deficiency. The highest concentration of VDRs, or vitamin D receptors, are located around the prostate, the uterus, and a couple of other areas where we have a high rate of cancer at. And so they've already done the studies, again, so that way you know it's coming through me, not from me, that shows the further we get away from the equator, the higher the rate the cancer goes up. And this is why the conversation is not necessarily ethnic. It's not white or black. It's more so just where you're from bloodline wise. If you're from a polar region, then you have a body built around the polar climate, polar foods, polar enzyme set. If you have a body from the equator, and this is where your bloodline's from, not where you live at right now. Where you live at right now might be far removed from that, which is why we have a whole bunch of stuff, and they say they don't know what's causing it. Yeah, well, I'm out of my natural habitat. Think about anybody that's ever bought a reptile from the store. You buy a reptile, they tell you, look, the reptile needs these UVB lights. Because if the reptile doesn't have these UVB lights, the reptile is going to have all types of cancers and tumors. We are from the same place as the reptiles. So when we don't have the UVB lights, what happens to us? All kinds of cancers and tumors. UVB light. UVB light is what turns cholesterol into vitamin D. So that's the other problem. We get the high blood pressure because our circulatory system is inundated with toxins and it's trying to push the toxins out of the circulatory system. So now there's a higher pressure on the circulatory system, high blood pressure. What do? Go to the doctor. They say, hey, take these statin drugs. What do statin drugs do? Destroy the enzyme that allows your body to build cholesterol. What does that have to do with vitamin D? Your body converts cholesterol into vitamin D when the sun hits it. Your body also converts cholesterol into testosterone. So this is why the number one side effect of people that take high blood pressure medication is erectile dysfunction. So they sell you the high blood pressure medication knowing it's going to shut down your body's ability to produce cholesterol, knowing that's going to shut down your body's ability to produce testosterone, and then they got you at the other ends. Oh, here, you need something for the erection? Take this. That's only going to boost up the body's nitric oxide so you get a stronger blood flow to the penis, but it doesn't change the biochemistry. And it lets in toxins that should be cleaned out the blood into there, so now you have another thing going on. Not to mention that the prostate and the uterus are located right between the bladder and the colon. So most of us don't go to the bathroom as much as we should, so it's fungus city down there anyway. So you got your prostate, your uterus snuggled up between all these parasites and funguses. So there's a couple of different things at play. But that's one of the reasons. And the guy who invented the PSA test has now, just about 10 years ago, come out and says the PSA test is an inaccurate test in terms of predicting cancer, that it only is good for predicting prostate calcification, which still is bad, but it's I don't know. Just extra information on top. I like to exhaust the subject. But, so, we're going to close it. Bring Keith on.
Announcements.
Real
quick. Yo, so again, I want to thank everybody for coming out. This ain't for y'all, because it looks like everybody in here who know Keith is. But for those of y'all out in TV land who don't know Keith Murray and don't know his body of work or you know, anything about that era, you in for a real good treat right now. The brother came out to support me and Enqi and what we doing. He going to be on the tour with us as well as with other artists. One thing I wanted to throw in there, Kannapolis, North Carolina. This is the beginning of this tour that we doing. We bridging the connection between the music industry, the entertainment industry, health, wellness, and your finances, because One of the most important things we could deal with is how we're perceiving all of these things. So with that said, critical thinking is going to be one of the underlying factors. You're going to hear us say that a lot. Critical thinking, and how important research is. Not just typing something into Google like the brother said and then going with the top 3 answers and then trying to debate that and then go Google some more. That's not what we're doing. So big shouts out to LTW Consulting, shouts to Dr. Jackson, shouts to everybody from the Taskia Foundation, and we're going to bring up Keith Murray right now. Everybody give it up for the man Keith Murray. This guy is hilarious. Yo, what up, Mr. Murray?
How y'all doing? Good afternoon. Hope y'all enjoy yourself. We're on this little journey right here to spread the word, and I will be providing a little bit of holistic lyricism.
Whenever you ready, bro.
Check it out. Okay. All right. Yo, check it. Yo, the most beautifulest thing in this world is just like that. I get it. Yo, the most beautifulest thing in this world is just like that. I get it. Yo, feel free to sing along if you know the words. Yo, check it. I mythological rappers is comical, the astronomical be coming through like the flute, bombing you, and embalming in your crew too. With the musical, mystical, magical, you know how I do. The word attack skills, vocabulary too. Comprehension of this edition, all brand new. It's through. I'm interplanetarian like Doctor Who. So who? Wanna get tricked on, word is bone. I'm kicking rhymes to the AM roaches spawn. Like Quincy, but I'm back on the block. I'm not selling crack. I'm coming up with the fat funk flows and tracks. So what you said, black? Well, I'm like hackety yak. My artifacts can't be beat with bats. I'm saying I eat everything up on the menu, sinew, sway, continue. The most beautifulest thing in this world is just like that. I get it. The most beautifulest thing in this world is just like that. I get it. The most beautifulest thing in this world is just like that. I get it. The most beautifulest thing in this world is just like that. I get it. Yo, spurring the moment opponents and suspects. Hold up in the resuscitation, waiting on the text. These I speak my concepts. The Enqi to make fuck figures of speech. Now the things is in the open. I'm open, token, scoping, waiting for the next rapper to get open on and break them down like an organic compound. That's the way the world and the earth goes round. Now, how the world you sound? I represent my clique like a 4 pound. You better pack your living over medication from the shaking meditation from the earthquake sure that I be making never making. I get down for my crown, taking the membrane of encyclopedia brown and freaking the folk in any throwdown. Why it sustains sound? Come on, y'all. The most beautifulest thing in this world is just like that. Right? I get it, yeah. The most beautifulest thing in this world is just like that. Yeah, I get it, yeah. The most beautifulest thing in this world is just like that. I get it, yeah. The most beautifulest thing in this world is just like that. I get it, yeah. I come down breaking ground. So back up off of me and sit yourself down. Now when I'm on the microphone, I run through zones. But don't be trying to style at home, no matter what race, creed, color, help or her. I come cleaner than J. Rue and damage your amateur. It's chronicle facial disorders occur. I'll assassinate your character's caliber. I channel my anger from the devilish banger and turn it to the microphone strangler. Stop trying to see where your eyes can't follow. Say goodnight to the world. You raving cuss, it's a must you get bust. I'm not to be messed with, toys ain't us. For eternity, through infinity, I eternally get in ya. The most beautifulest thing in this world is just like that. I get in ya. What? The most beautifulest thing in this world is just like that. Yeah, I get in ya. The most beautifulest thing in this world is just like that. I get in ya. The most beautifulest thing in this world is just like that. Somebody say ho, say ho, say I feel real good, and I love myself. Peace, thank you. Holistic healing, baby.
Hello, non-believers out there. This is Sunday school. I am the minister.
Once in a blue moon.